Now that is a happy dog. Come on, buddy. Come on. You go swimming? Come on. This way, buddy. Oh, boy. Who's a happy dog? Who's a happy dog? Good boy, dog. You sit. Go, baby. Good boy, dog.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of the Jenn Sheelen podcast. I am Jenn of becky-kelly.com, and today is Saturday. I was almost said Friday. Saturday, May 28th of 2016. I meant to film yesterday and said, oh, well, I'm going to do it tomorrow when it's 90 degrees and I don't have air conditioning, and I'm going to sit in front of the lights. Not very smart, Jenn. But I'm dedicated, so I had a plan, and I'm going to film today. It may not be very long, but I'm going to go for it. So if I look a little shiny, that would be why. And my neck, which loves to turn red, if you are a new viewer, welcome, by the way, you will see that my neck steadily creeps up and gets very, very red. It is not any woolly goods, it's just I get a little warm and worked up and excited, and it's now my trademark. So, and to returning viewers, welcome back, and you can laugh at me as I turn red, as I'm sure you do at every episode. I would. So I have with me here my co-host, Doug the dog, who is panting off to the side. He is very determined to stay in here with me. So I'm going to give him a cookie. Do you want one, buddy? You ready? You got to get a little bit more. High five! Good boy! Lay down. Lay down. All the way. Good boy. So that is my co-host, Doug the dog. You should have seen a video before I started this episode of him swimming yesterday. We have a little beach, a little private beach nearby that it's like half a mile to walk there. So I brought him down there yesterday. It was an impromptu swimming. And of course it was low tide. Mama ain't very smart because, phew! But he did a little swimming and was very happy. And at the end of this episode, you will see how he behaves when I tried to get him home. Somebody was a little fresh. Somebody threw a temper tantrum. Who he hasn't done that since he was a puppy. This guy, right here. Where's your nose? Come on. Yes, you. This cute face. Anyway, back to it. I am Jenn of becky-kelly.com, and you can find me on various forms of social media. I am on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Ravelry, as well as Tumblr. And I have a Ravelry group to talk about the podcast and what you're working on and various knitting things or silly things or whatnot. So join us in there and come see Doug the dog's thread as well. I'll post various pictures of him and whatnot, of his silly antics. That's my Dougie right there. Okay, so while I was getting ready today, I like to listen to a podcast every time I go to get ready. And I listened, Dougie's purring, he's very excited about that. I was listening to Barbara with knittingILove. And I'm so glad I discovered her. She is a cutie pie. I love watching her. And what I think is extra cute is she loves mason jars. Oh my god! We know I love jars. And what she does is she'll watch various podcasts and put the names in the jar. And I believe she draws winners for them too. I was like, how cute is that? So she's keeping track of all her podcasts that she watches by putting their names in a mason jar. And I said, I happen to know somebody who likes to design mason jar covers. Just saying. Anyway, check out Barbara with knittingILove. She's got a video podcast on YouTube. She's very sweet, and she has a Ravelry group as well. What I will do is I will put that, as well as anything I talk about here in this episode, in my show notes on my website. So if you find anything you like, go check that out, and I will make it easy for you to go find. Okay, let's get right to it with spinning right round. I have not done a whole lot of spinning, and I discovered something about myself. I realized when I spin, I kind of stick to the same thing. I like to kind of keep spinning this one particular fiber instead of mixing it up with various fibers, like I do with my knitting. Like I'll have multiple projects, but I don't really do that with my spinning. So I have continued to spin my Siobhan Crafts peacock roll legs. For a new viewer, I will show you the roll leg. Quick peep. There we go. Quick peek follow-up for what they look like. They're gorgeous spun. I'm really impatient to ply them too. So I've almost finished my first bag, and I think I have like 3 bags left. So I'm looking a little dark here, so I'm going to tap my screen to try to make us a little brighter here. There, well, there we go. So yeah, so I'm going to keep working on that. I may or may not pull out some other fiber to mix it up and see if I can actually, you know, do something a little different. Instead of focusing on one fiber, it might help me, you know, with my spinning too, if I have multiple things to work on. So I don't, you know, get almost like second sock syndrome when you're really, really in a rush to finish a certain fiber and you can't wait to see it done. I may wind up overspinning it or spinning it thicker than I want or whatnot, so maybe mixing it up might help with that problem. We shall see. To show off for spinning, I am going to pull out my hand spun and my knit Dragonfly shawl. So it's the Dragonfly wing shawl. Now you're going to look at this and say, huh, doesn't really look like the picture. It doesn't. I am fairly certain that I finished, or I didn't finish, or I missed a chart that was in that pattern. It's very small. I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know what I did wrong. I love this, and I'll put it on very quickly so I don't roast. But I love wearing it. It is a cute little thing to throw on with an outfit. I love it. But I'm fairly certain I forgot to do a repeat or did something wrong, because it is very tiny. It's not very big. It's very long, and I love it, and I love how the color is striped with this hand spun, but I don't know what I did. But I do love it, and I highly recommend the pattern. I did love knitting it, and I absolutely love knitting it out of my hand spun too. It was really, really pretty. So check out that pattern. That is by Boo Knits, and that can be found on Ravelry. Don't have the price in front of me. I actually want to say it's a free pattern, but don't hold me to that. I think it is. Of course I didn't write that down. Why would I have done that? That would have made sense, Jen. Blame the heat. Okay, to move on to selfish knitting. I love selfish knitting because now I've been kind of indulging a lot and letting myself do a little selfish knitting as well as designing, you know, taking a little break. So I have been working on a self-striping pair of socks, and you'll see why I had to cast these on shortly, because I have something to show off later. It's so awesome. Oh my god. So I'm making these socks on purpose. They're for a reason. So this is the Cozy Knitter. I love her self-striping yarn. Totally love her self-striping yarn. And I believe, oh, I'm going to hold it back here. This colorway is Hydrangea Bloom. And I don't know if it's going to pick up really well here, but this is actually a gray, and that's a nice purple. And they're such fun, pretty colors. I love these. And these are just great to pick up wherever you are. I was getting a pedicure yesterday, and I was like, oh, I can work on my socks. And I'm talking to a lady next to me, like, la, la, la. Don't even have to look. Perfect project for that. So it's a perfect excuse to have selfish knitting with me all the time. Always have a sock cast on. I should really follow that rule. It makes sense. Always have something you can just pick up and go with. I mean, I have the sock yarn blanket. I could do that. But as it gets bigger, that's not necessarily going to work. And now it's like summer. So I may want something a little smaller and more portable. Ta-da! An excuse to selfish knit. So much yes. So much yes. I will link to the Cozy Knitter's Etsy shop in my show notes. Go check her out. Her colorways are so much fun, and she just posted a new one. I believe it's called Birch, but it's part of her Yarn of the Month club. I'm like, oh, that yarn has to be mine. It's greens and whites and like a beige. Oh my god. I want this yarn. She has one like it called Birch Wannabe, and I think it's a little bit darker. So it's the greens and the naturals, and I think it's a dark gray that's in it. It's equally pretty. So I may have to do a little purchasing and go get that yarn because I saw it and I'm like, oh, I want it. And I promised myself I was going to slow down on the purchases. But I may have to go get that yarn. And my excuse too is I need to get more of her Patriot colorway so I can make more of my Americana jars behind me. See, as it's Memorial Day weekend, hence my gear. Ta-da, see? I need to make more of them. And we have a big 4th of July party coming up. It's only a few weeks away. It's actually really close. So I want to make a bunch of those to have in my yard. So I need to get more of that yarn. That will happen. Yeah. What do you think, Dougie? It's a good plan? Is that a good plan? Oh, it is. Okay, here. Oh, God, you're laying on me. It's so hot. Why? Oh. Okay, what else with selfish knitting? All right. Oh, somebody's gonna like this. I'm gonna give a little sneak peek because it's a present. So I had bought this yarn from Done Roving, and the colorway I totally kept in mind from my friend Colleen. And I'm like, this is so for her. So I asked her, I'm like, what would you like me to knit with, knit it with? I'm like, you can do one of my patterns, you can do whatever you want. She goes, kind of like your Nature's Magic mitts, so maybe could you make those? And I might have enough to make another in the set. I would really like to stretch one skein of fingering to make all 3 pieces. The only tricky part about the pattern is it's borderline. What I can maybe do is do the mitts and then the hat and then go with it with the cowl and just bind off when I run low. Only problem is I gotta make sure I have enough for the border, but why not? So here is the beginning of my Nature's Magic mitts for Colleen. Look at how pretty and fun that colorway is. Oh, so because this is a variegated yarn, they're supposed to be, they're leaves right here. They get a little bit lost, they're a little bit more subtle, but actually they're shadowing really nicely here. And then you see like these pine cone-like shapes here. Nature's Magic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish these up. If anybody goes to knit this pattern, when you block it, make sure you block it lengthwise, not this way, because they're going to look a little big while you're knitting them, including the thumb. Do not fear. When you block them, make sure you stretch it, and when you stretch the thumb, it'll fit perfect when you're done. As long as you hit gauge, make sure you knit a gauge swatch, and it'll be fine. So I'm pretty excited to finish these and have these for her. And I get to knit my pattern again. I haven't knit that one in a while, so it's kind of fun to go back and re-knit one of my patterns. Love it. Okay, another one that I'm super excited to share, and I talked about in the last 2 episodes, I think, was Oceanbound by Melanie Berg. Oh my goodness, did I love knitting this pattern so much, and you can see it displayed behind me. I love knitting this pattern, and I want to make it again. I loved it. I couldn't put it down. It was so easy, and it was nice to have those sections of garter where you can kind of just be like mindless knitting, and then you had a little bit of the lace work to kind of bring you back to it and be a little bit more of a challenge. It wasn't hard lace work, but it makes you pay attention. Then right back to the garter. So I like how it's broken up because you have each section to look forward to. I played a little yarn chicken with this. First I will show it off. Oh, look at how stinking pretty this is. Should I do that again? Yes. Look at that, how pretty that is. Oh my god, I can't even stand it. And of course it goes this way. It's an asymmetrical shawl. Say that 3 times fast. So what happened was I used that gradient. Hey, you're very in my way. Come here, buddy, over here. Come here. All the way. Doug was like, I'm done. It is my turn, and then I'm gonna bail. All right, you, over there. Go on, go out there. Lay down. Good boy. Sorry about that. Back to it. So what happened was I used Bohemia Fibers gradient. It was called, the colorway was Wake. So the center was this natural color. So what kind of worked out was that most of the little lace sections here were in that natural color. And then just at the last one, it started to like turn into the blue. And then the whole bottom was the gradient. I love how that turned out. It was so much fun. So yeah, I played a little yarn chicken with this too. So the pattern calls for size 4 needles, but the stitches per inch were like 4 stitches per inch. I'm like, I'm a loose knitter, but that ain't gonna fly. There's no way I'll hit 4 stitches per inch on a 4. No way. So, with fingering weight. So I'm like, all right. I usually do shawls in a size 6. So I kind of went for it. I'm like, a 5 isn't going to be enough. I'm just going to go to a 6 and wing it. Just do it. I should have done a gauge swatch. Because I played major yarn chicken. So with the Done Roving sections, the garter sections, I had just enough. I was able to finish all the sections, done. I did not with the lace section. I did wind up running out of yarn. So what I had to do was I had to cut off the last 4 rows up the bottom, which was fine. It's still very, very pretty how it came out. And I was still able to get the points at the bottom too. I might block that one more time to make them a little more pronounced, but it did come out super pretty. I don't regret, playing yarn chicken at all. I love how there's a lot of drape. I love how it looks. Oh my goodness. Next time, though, I would either go to a 5, just to be on the safe side, and make sure I have it. Like, the skeins, I think these were lower. I want to say that Dun Roving was 400. I think Bohemia's was too, but I don't remember for sure. Don't hold me to that. So either I would, I mean, most skeins kind of run, a fingering, about 400 yards. So I think I'd probably drop my needle size to the 5, and then I should be fine. So just food for thought. If you do go to knit the shawl and you go to bump up your needle, watch how much yarn you have, because you may run out, like I did. I was like, bummer, I had like 1 strand left of that Bohemia, that dark yarn, like this long. That was it. I was out. Like, I was just able to bind it off. I was like, phew. But I highly recommend this pattern. So, Oceanbound by Melanie Berg. Check it out. It's gorgeous. I love it. So that concludes my selfish knitting. See, I've kind of been indulging just a little bit. Okay, so we are going to move on to Beverage of Choice. All right, this is, I always say this, one of my favorite beers. This is Resin by Sixpoint. You stay there, this is not for you. No, you sit. Good boy. There you go. So this is Resin by Sixpoint. Sixpoint Brewery. Right there. They are out of Brooklyn, New York. It's a tall, skinny can. It is a double IPA, and it does pack a punch. I'm trying to remember. That's 9.1%. It's decent. It is a really, really good double IPA, and you can't have that. You can have your drink. Here. Here's your beverage of choice. Watch her. You can have that. No, it's not as fun as this. I know. Shame on me. I forgot to say cheers first. Cheers. There you go, buddy. Oh, that's all over me. Yep, I'm wearing that. Didn't think that one through either. Dougie's having a little sip. Thanks, pal. I needed that. All right. You done? Okay. I figured it's very hot up here, and if he is going to hang out with me, I should bring him some water. Because it is quite toasty. I have a little bit of a sweaty lip. Excuse me. Should add a little more powder. I don't have a makeup person to come in and be like dabbing all that. No. And this one, no. Go boy, Doug. So that is Sixpoint Brewery. That is Resin. Awesome double IPA. Totally check it out. It is delicious. It does have a ton of flavor, and that is what I look for in my IPAs. I like a good, strong, jumps out of the glass and smacks you across the face type of IPA. Like, I like a big, intense flavor with them. That one certainly has it. It's awesome. So, I will bring this up now, because it's totally fitting. It is my Frank Sheelen and I's 5th anniversary tomorrow. 5 years! I have no idea where the time went at all. I cannot believe it's been 5 years. But we were talking about what we want to do. And we do plan on going vacation, hopefully going away somewhere, but in the next few months. We have a very old rat terrier, Parker, downstairs who we can't really leave behind. So we kind of have to wait a bit and see what happens with him before going away. But that's okay. What we do for our puppies. So we're like, let's go out to dinner. Where are we going to go? And he's like, well, maybe we can go into Boston. I'm like, that would be, there is an awesome pub that I love. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to pick up my list because there's a few places we're going to go because his awesome wife suggested a mini pub crawl for our anniversary. What? I know. I'm like, and I go to him, I'm like, how awesome is it that your wife suggested a pub crawl for our anniversary? He goes, it would be a lot cooler if she didn't call herself out on it. I'm like, I'm sorry. I rarely get those moments. And I thought it was awesome. I'm gonna say it. So anyway, we're going to go on a mini pub crawl. The first place that I thought of was Bukowski Tavern, and this is this pub that, it's a teeny little place, and they have an awesome beer selection, and their food is yummy. I remember I had mac and cheese there at one point, which is my favorite thing. One of my favorite things. Mac and cheese and beer. Match made in heaven. They should go together all the time. So I said, well, let's go back there. So we're going to go back there, and there is another place, McGreevy's, who is owned by the Dropkick Murphys, who we love. Our wedding song is actually Forever by Dropkick Murphys. Fitting, right? See how this all ties together? Yes, sometimes it just I can't turn it off. It just happens. So this is all in the same area of Boston, which is great. So we'll check out Bukowski's. And then I love their menu, by the way. It is so inappropriate and amazing. When I went to go on the website to get the link for my show notes, there's 2 locations. There's one in Cambridge and one in Boston. And above it, it says, pick your location, dumbass. And I was like, okay. Their menu goes from there. There's a lot of F-bombs and whatnot, and I think it's hilarious and inappropriate and awesome. So, Bukowski's, McGreevy's, and then there's another place called Dillon's, which Frank has been to. I haven't yet, and I really want to check it out. And then, at the end, there's a place called Max Brenner Chocolate Bar. They have all of the chocolate. All of it. And you walk in, it's everywhere, and it smells amazing, and it's kind of like heaven. So, and they have awesome martinis. So, of course, I should have martinis after having some beers at the other places. I'm going to have to stock up on some ibuprofen and really hydrate. So that's where I'm thinking we might wind up for a dessert, is to go to check out Max Brenner. So these are the places we're thinking of going to for our anniversary tomorrow, and I'm pretty excited about that, because I love my Frank Sheelen. He's kind of cute. Just saying. And I'm very sorry if the big guy is panting, and if that's very loud. I'm not sure how loud that will be on screen, but he's a little warm. Why don't you go out there, buddy? Go on, go out there. Or lay down. You're so stuck. He just put his paw on me. I know, Bubby. And he just burped. Excuse you. This poor dog is so hot, but he's so loyal. He will go with me wherever I am in the house. This poor guy. He's a good co-host. Isn't that right, Bubby? Here, you can get another cookie. Come here. There you go. If you lay down for it. Come. There you go. Okay. So that's for our anniversary. I'm pretty excited. Okay, I'll stop. Alright, now to what I'm styling. So, I kind of had plans going back and forth, and I'm like, maybe I'll do this, and then maybe I won't, and then maybe I'll do this, and I'm looking around, because I thought I had another version of what I'm wearing, and I did not bring it in here. Bummer. No biggie. I am actually wearing my wolf scruff. And you're saying, but where is it? Because I usually put it around my neck. But it's 90 degrees, so that was not an option. So, I am wearing my other one that I made bandana style. And I wore this in the 4th of July parade last year. So I'm like, well, why not rock that for Memorial Day weekend? Duh. It's very patriotic. So I am rocking my wolf scruff. This one was at a sport weight. And I made it a little bit smaller and just tied the ends together instead of putting buttons. And I made a kerchief. Uh-huh. It was quite popular, too. I really like it. And because it is very humid and hot, there is nothing to be done with this curly hair. Humidity and I do not get along. So it's a pigtail kind of day. And I'm like, well, this was a happy accident. This all worked out. I'm okay with that. So what else I'm styling is I got some presents. I got a present from Colleen. I was just talking about her, and she made me a lot of these fun little bracelets. I love these. And this one says, be you, which is very much an awesome thing. And I am just me. So when I do this podcast, this is how I am all the time. I'm not doing it up for the podcast. This is just me. So I thought this bracelet was very fitting to wear for this episode. And I'm also wearing, so my friend Michelle went away, and my friend Ashley and I watched her cat Sheldon while she was away. So she's very sweet. She got us presents she was down in Florida visiting a friend. So she got me this necklace. I don't know if it's really going to pick up. It is the top of a spoon. And it's an old pattern from 1910, and I don't know if I put the card away. It tells you what the pattern is. It's some sort of floral pattern. And so they take the top of the spoon and made a necklace out of it. And if anybody who knows me knows I have a chronic pain condition, and I just try to explain to people what my everyday is like, I tell them about the spoon theory, which I will link to again in my notes so you can see what I'm talking about. But it's talking about the spoon theory. It's a good way to explain to your friends and family what living your day is like every day, where you have to manage your spoons. So I thought that was really sweet. I love that. The top of a spoon. Very sweet. And she got me these cute little earrings, too. They're dangling here and sparkling. But, so thank you, guys. I love my presents. Okay. So this is a quick one. So on to tips and tricks. And this was a good one I thought of while I was working on Oceanbound. There are a lot of stitches going on there. And what's awesome about her pattern is she gives you the stitch count at the end of each row. which is what I try to do too in my patterns, it's great because there's certain knitters who really like to be able to double check and make sure they have the right amount of stitches on the needle and that their pattern was done right, instead of knitting ahead and finding out later, which sucks. So I love that about our pattern. So what I would do at the end of each section was check my stitch count. But there's a lot of stitches there, and of course you're like 1, 2, 3, and you get up to like 50, and then somebody speaks, or you're watching TV, and then people start spouting numbers, and you lose count. Man. So I could have used stitch markers and done that, and I actually did try that, but it wasn't working for me. I like to use the least amount while I'm knitting something. I don't want to overdo it with stitch markers. It's not comfortable for me to knit with. I will use some stitch markers, but I don't want the whole thing to have a bunch of them. So what I did instead is when I would go to count my row, I would mark every 50 stitches with, right, the clip marker. These are locking stitch markers. I call them clippy markers. These guys. So what I would do is you can do it with 20 or 50. I just happen to do it with 50. Count 50, boom, and then I can put it down. And then I count another 50, boom, there, ta-da! Genius. Just a simple little thing right there for counting my stitches. I thought that was very smart. So that is my tip and trick for you today. Something to think about. If you are a stitch marker person, I totally, highly recommend that too. It's just not as comfortable for me to knit with, so that was an easy way for me to count and keep on top of my stitches. Right? Pardon me for a second. I'm going to take another sip. Phew. It's a little hot. It's quite warm in here. But taking one for the team. The podcast has to go on. Okay. Showing off. Oh my god. I finally get to show these. I've been dying. I've been putting them on my personal Facebook account, but I purposely held off putting these on Instagram or any of the business accounts or social media accounts because I wanted to debut them on the podcast. They're awesome. These are also from Colleen. Colleen, you rock. I love these. And she was so funny. We were talking about it. She's like, I didn't know if they'd be too cheesy for you. I'm like, we've met, right? I do cheesy. It's how I roll. Oh, Betty. So, these are Converse that are clear. Check it out. And now I pulled these out of the box, and I instantly knew why she gave them to me. I'm going to show you. I was going to wear them and then just show you at this point in the podcast, but it's a little hot to do this. So wait till you see. I can't even. I'm so excited for this. It's just awesome. Coolest gift ever. Just saying. You wear them with knit socks. Look at that. I can't even excuse my yucky legs. Look at how awesome that is. You wear them with knit socks. These are also Cozy Knitter. That is why selfish knitting, self-striping socks had to happen. So I will show you a less stripy pair as well. Those are my Cozy Knitter. I think they are the Elf socks, which I love. And that's what started this whole obsession with her yarn and her self-striping yarn, because I'm like, oh, these are fun. That and the Afterthought heel. Love knitting those with socks. I shall probably always have a pair of those cast on. So this is another pair. Not self-striping, but these kind of stripe too. And these are by O Loops. And I unfortunately don't remember the colorway. And I really should have kept track of that. So I am sorry, O Loops girls. I don't know this colorway. But check it out. Look how awesome these are. You change the color of your shoes with your knit socks. How genius is that? For a knitter, this is amazing. Oh my god. So I love these shoes. I think they're awesome, and I think all knitters, especially those who knit socks, should have them. They're awesome. They're on the Converse site. Go check it out. They're amazing. Right? How cool is that? I'm not going to shut up about these things for like a week. And I've been trying to find excuses to wear them too. Though, of course, as it gets a little hot, it's a little trickier to do that with knit socks. However, on a cooler day, evening, you know I'm going to be rocking them because they're amazing. Just saying. Whew. Get the knit socks off. Okay. I really wanted to sit here and wear those, but I was like, you know what? Put them on while you're podcasting and install. That worked, right? Okay. That was my showing off. So great. Look at these! I can't. Oh my god. Okay. Phew. I've made it this far. I can do this. Phew. Alright, random thoughts. back to that. I'm going to bring this up again. Sock blanks. Help me, knitters. Where should I purchase a sock blank? Who is your favorite indie dyer who makes sock blanks? Please let me know. I will put up a thread for this episode in my Jenn Sheelen Ravelry group, and feel free to please come over and chat in there and let me know. Sock blanks. I'm really curious about these, and I think they'd be another cool thing, another cool selfish knit to have on hand to work with. So, who is your favorite person, indie dyer, for sock blanks? All right. Just saying. Just to blame the heat. I know I'm a little bit all over the place. It's a little hot. So I may not be as organized as I usually am. I am trying though. Okay. Giveaways. We know how much I love giveaways. So my last episode, I went through a bunch of knit-alongs that are going on right now. I'll breeze through them here, but I will, again, put the summary of each one in my show notes so that they're easy to find. The first one is a jar along that Candy with Pause for Stitches and I are running together. A jar along. It was her genius idea. I'm like, that is brilliant. Thank you, Candy, for this, because it's such a good idea. Candy and I are both running this, so she's Pause for Stitches, and she has a Ravelry group as well. And we are doing a jar along. And we are running this from June to December, and we will debut, or we'll highlight a different jar each month. You don't have to knit that particular jar, but we just want to highlight one each month. It'll be a featured jar. And for June, it'll be Fairy's Firelight, which I will show in a moment. So what we ask you to do is take a picture of your finished jar and post it in the thread, and just give us an idea of how you would use it or gift it. And you will be entered to win a prize. And we will have one winner per month in each group, and you can enter the same jar in each group. So totally do that, because then you have 2 chances to win. And there are a lot of knit-alongs going on out there where, and a lot of people who are running them allow you to double dip. So you have the 12 Months of Christmas thread that's going on right now with BostonJen of the Down Cellar Studio podcast, where you have to knit a present each month. Boom! You got the jar for the jar along. Boop, boop, 2 chances to win, and then another by going into Jen's thread. And you can enter more than once. Go for it. Knit 2 jars. Boom! Put them in. Go for it. And you will win a prize. And I'm so excited. I just went to Michael's today, and I'm like, I have to film this episode, still in the heat, don't care, because I have to show these off. Oh my god. So I was talking about Fairy's Firelight. I was gonna light it. I'm not gonna, oh yeah, I will. Well, you're not even gonna see it. I'm not gonna light it, because the lights are too bright. It's too hot. I was totally planning on having these lit behind me, but it's just too hot. I can't have more heat to the room. Look at this lid that I found at Michael's. And there's Fairy's Firelight that's looking a little bright. Let's bring it back here. Man, I wish that would show a little better. I don't know if it's going to do it. Nope, too bright. I will have a picture of it in my show notes so that you can see it. And you can look up the pattern, Fairy's Firelight, and there's a bunch of pretty pictures of the pattern in there. They're flames. And I found this lid. How cool would this be out in your yard? You put those posts in that you use for plants, like the hook. Oh my god. Genius. Genius. So I'm pretty excited to have a bunch of those while we have a Fire Pit Friday, and they shall be around my yard. Right? Awesome. And I also meant to talk about this in my last episode, and I neglected to do so. There was an awesome idea from a knitter, and I thought this was so sweet. What a clever, clever idea for a jar. So her name, let's see if I pull her up down here. Oh, from Diane. That's who did this. And she is Deedly on Ravelry. She needed a birthday gift. So what she did with the jar is she just knit a band around the center, and she put notes of encouragement in the jar. And she gave it as a birthday gift with the notes of encouragement in it. How sweet is that? That one kind of touched my heartstrings. I'm like, that is a really clever and unique gift. So love that. So those are the type of things you can put in the group. Enter that. Any ideas you have for it, that's what we're looking for. I mean, it doesn't have to, it could just be, I put a tea light in it. Whatever you would think, how you would gift it, and what color you would, obviously you knit it in. Are you going to go with natural? Are you going to go with variegated? Are you going to go striped? What will you do? There's so many things you could do with these jars. I can't even. I'm a little obsessed. And I think it's contagious because Candy with Pause for Stitches is just as obsessed with covering all the jars as I am. found another really cool lid at Michael's too. And I was just talking about my Americana jar cover. It's not the one we're debuting, but I had to show this off because look at the lid. It's a star. That fits a little, right? Genius. And I did not plan my stripe as well on this jar. In hindsight, I probably would have just done more blue where that red is, but it still looks really pretty. I'm going to put a tea light in that, and I'll show the star. And I plan to put these all around our yard for our 4th of July party. To knit them. I may call out to knitters for some help to knit them for my yard, because I'm running low on time. But I do plan on doing that for our party. I think that would be really, really pretty. And then the other lid that I found, which I thought was really cool. I know I'm going way off topic of giveaways, but it kind of ties because they're all jars. This is an LED light lid. Oh, Dougie's going to check that out. Check it out. Look at that. Yeah. It's a little light. It goes in, oops, goes in the jar. Uh-huh. And I'm hoping it'll show. Let's see if it'll work. Again, it's quite bright in here, so I don't know if this is really going to show up. Not really, see, because it's too bright. Oh, my neighbor's dog is losing his mind. Had to have the windows open, so you may hear a little background noise with a angry chipmunk and birds and dogs barking. You can't see it in here because it's so bright. But I thought that was a really cool idea, too, if you don't want to have a bunch of tea lights going, especially outside in your yard or in your home. An LED light lid. Pretty awesome. So go check those out at Michael's. They're not expensive. I think the lids might be $2 to $3, if that, a piece. The LED, I think, was maybe $4 to $5. Not bad. And Michael's always has coupons. Today I saved like $10 in coupons. Hello. Hey, Dougie. You're the co-host, not the host. Come here. Over here. Somebody is letting podcasting get to his head and is getting a little full of himself. Over there, buddy. Now we have your butt. Over here. Come here. All the way. Go that way. Okay. So that is the jar along that I am running with candy. So check that out. It starts June 1st. And I have my prizes to show you for people. So I'm going to give away a jar, and so is Candy, so I think we're on the same page with this one. We're each going to give away a jar, and I may just include one of these new lids, because hello! And I'm going to give away a skein of yarn, and this is from String Theory, and it is Caper Sock, and it is a gorgeous colorway called Isis. Lovely. So I will gift this skein of yarn, and I'm going to gift a pattern of your choice for the knitter. So this is the one prize for the month for my group. You want to enter, you get 3 things. What? I know. The mind is blown. So totally join the jar along. Knit yourself a jar. They're a quick knit, awesome gift, and you can win a prize. And you can enter other knit alongs too. There's so many good things about this, I can't even. Plugging our knit along just a little bit there. Okay, so the other knit alongs where you can win a lot, I've sponsored a lot of them right now. You can win one of my patterns. One of them you can win a pattern of your choice, just like this one. I've sponsored particular patterns for that knit along. So the ones that I'm working with right now are, get my little notes out. I mentioned the 12 months to Christmas knit along, so you can, like I said, you can double dip with this and enter in there as well. The Graduate Your Stash knit along, and this is run by Mary of Kino Knits. The Pow Cow 2016, and that is by Michelle of Actually Knitting. The 31 Days of Free Patterns, and that is hosted by Tiny Knitters. That is Linda of Tiny Knit. A lot of tiny knits going on there. The Summer Superlatives knit along, and that is hosted by Becky of Knit Actually. So again, check out, I summarized each knit along, so you can check that out in my notes and see which ones you're maybe interested in entering. And again, you could probably double dip in some of these as well. Check them out. And the Pow Cow, definitely, I'm a podcaster, and that's the idea. And I listened to her last episode, and she did say that it is okay to double dip with other knit alongs and with this one. So there you go. You can knit a Jenn Sheelen pattern and enter it in that podcast along. And I would be like, oh my goodness, somebody knit my pattern and entered it in there. I still get stoked whenever somebody knits one of my patterns. Seriously, I'm a giant goober. Whenever somebody posts one of their finished items that they've knit of one of my patterns, I'm like, they knit my Yes, I am a giant goober. Totally. 100% major goober. It thrills me every time I see somebody knit one of my patterns. I love it. It's just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It makes me feel good. So thank you for that. Okay, so I think I've gotten through everything, but what's up with my patterns? This one I'm pretty excited about too. I was a little worried that I wasn't going to be able to make this happen, but I set myself a goal and I hit it. Yes! Right, Dougie? I know you're so hot, buddy. I'm so sorry. My poor dog. Do you want some more water? We're both going to take a sip, and then I will tell you what's up with my patterns. You want that? No, you can't have the beer. No. No, honey, you can't. You can sniff it, but you can't have it. I know. You can have water. Which I'm now going to wear again. He's not very delicate when he sips. So, while he sips, I will start. What's up with my patterns? So, my Starlight Bloom shawl, which I've mentioned in the past few episodes, is done. All it needs right now is, I still have a few test knitters working on it, but I've had enough of them finish where I'm comfortable with the pattern, and I've knit it out 3 times. It just needs photos, and then I can release the pattern. So hopefully, okay. I have water all over my leg right now, but that's okay. It actually feels good because it's so hot. I need pattern or pictures done for the pattern, and I hope to snag my Frank Sheelen at some point this long weekend to get some photos and get that pattern out by next week. At least that is my goal. If I run a little late, I will let everybody know in this thread, or in a thread for this episode in my group. So keep an eye out for that, and whenever I have a new pattern that I launch, I announce that in the group as well. So if you're looking for new patterns or one in particular that you've seen me working on, check out the group. I announce when I launch. If I'm looking for test knitters, I announce that in my group as well. So keep an eye out for that if you would like to test knit any of my patterns. And then, last but not least, I have finally made this happen. Oh, I'm sorry. Back up a second. I need to show off the Starlight Blooms, the third one I knit. Duh. Where'd it go? There it is. Again, I'm blaming the heat. I'm so hot and I still wanted to make this happen. If I'm all over the place, I do, again, apologize. I'm trying very hard. This is my third Starlight Blooms. How pretty is that? Here, Dougie. No, honey, you don't want to wear it. Okay. You don't want to wear this. It's already too hot. You look very handsome, but no, okay. This is my third Starlight Blooms, and this was made out of Fleece Artist, and the colorway was Arctic Sunrise, which I thought was so pretty and such a cool take on this pattern. So the flowers are a little bit up here, are a little bit more subtle, which I actually really like. And I just like that you're picturing these flowers, this garden, you're looking at it at sunrise, where you see the bits of blue coming on the horizon, and then the oranges coming in, and I am stoked with how this came out. I love it. So fun. And especially with the textured stitches right here of the stockinette ridge. I thought that came out really pretty with this yarn too. Like, I almost want to knit a whole entire shawl just out of that. Like a good variegated yarn that's funky colors, I think would be so pretty in that. So I may have to make that happen now that I just said it. We shall see. But I thought that would be kind of fun too. And my Frank Sheelen actually gave me that idea. He's like, that's a really cool texture right going on right there, and that's a funky yarn, so you have plenty of funky yarns in your stash. Why don't you design around that? And I'm like, so I can't claim the idea. It was Frank Sheelen. Man's a genius, and he talks knitting to me. I love him. My favorite was the other day, he asked me if I had actually blocked my shawl. He knew about blocking, and I think another point he asked me, did you knit gauge? Did you knit a gauge swatch? Love that man. And I just tell him, I'm like, I love it when you talk knitting to me. He does. It's our anniversary weekend, so I'm an extra mushy this weekend. I'm sorry. It's 5 years. It's a little milestone there. Still makes me blush. I can't even. Okay, so that was Starlight Blooms. I guess I was a little excited to get on to the next part, and that's why I almost forgot to show you that. So I've talked about knitting more ornaments. And I have my first series of Victorian Yuletide ornaments released, and now I want to work on my second one. So it'll be Victorian Yuletide Ornaments Part 2. I finished the first one this morning. Meet Eleanor. And of course, she's going to be a little hard to see because it is very bright in here. But I have a picture of her. Man, I wish it wasn't so bright. That's a bummer. Oh, there we go. Ta-da! That is Eleanor. Right there. I'm in love. I'm so thrilled with how this came out. Seriously. She's so delicate and so lovely. And I named her Eleanor after my grandma Rebel, who was the one who taught me how to knit. I had to name one of these Eleanor, and I was waiting for just the right pattern that made me think of her, and it was this one. So, don't get all emotional. No, no, not allowed. We're podcasting. So this is Eleanor. So what I did with my Victorian Yuletide pattern is it's a set of 3, and each one I named after. I wanted to give it a beautiful, I just pictured beautiful Victorian ladies in their lovely dress and whatnot, so I named each one after a Victorian lady. So I have Elizabeth, I have Isabel, and Helena in pattern 1, or set 1, and now I've started with Eleanor with set 2. More to come. I already picked my stitch patterns that I'm going to work on the next 2. Those are going to be a little bit harder than this one, because one of them I found, and it's in Russian. Thankfully, she included a chart, but the stitch pattern doesn't exist anywhere. I've looked everywhere. It doesn't exist. But it's stunning, and I'm like, I have to put that on an ornament. I will figure it out. Charting is the universal language across knitters, so I should be able to figure this out. And if I do, it'll be winning! So great, because it's absolutely stunning. Breathtakingly stunning. It just, I need a moment. Sorry. Anyway, keep an eye out for those. I will post pictures on social media as well. I usually post those on Instagram. And I will post my progress as I go along before I film the next episode. And if I'm lucky, the next time I film, I should have the set of 3 done. That is my goal I am setting for myself. Now that I've done that, now I should make it happen. Right? Hopefully. Hopefully I can make that happen. We shall see. Phew, I made it and I didn't pass out before the end of the episode. Whew, even in front of these lights, which are wicked bright and wicked hot. Alright, so that is all I have for you today. Hopefully it wasn't too jumbled. I tried very hard. And so did my poor Dougie. He held in there, right, buddy? You were such a good boy. Of course, now I'm going to bid you all a good day, and at the end of this episode, you will see a film of how this one behaved after I took him swimming, which was not so good. It was very fresh. So I hope you all have a good long weekend, and I will see you hopefully again in a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'll see you then, knitters. Thank you for joining us. Bye. Doug, let's go. And this is Doug throwing a temper tantrum. Again. I let him go swimming. You give an inch and this is what you get. Yes, you. You're being fresh. Let's go. Come on. Do you see this? This is it. Dougie throwing a temper tantrum. See if I let you go swimming tomorrow, mister.